have the infrastructure of power, roads, and the rest, and also the marketplace.
But we had very interesting conversations around the role that livestock and livestock management plays in South Sudan, and ways in which perhaps more commercial benefit could come to South Sudan from its livestock, and indeed from the abundant fisheries potential here in South Sudan.
And as we continue with this afternoon's bulletin, awareness campaign on consensus and elections. Let's have a quick short break and we will be right back. Welcome back, and the news continue. The Community Empowerment for Progress organization, with support from the African Union, the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, is conducting an awareness campaign, consensus and elections. In his opening remarks, the National Minister of Peace Building, Stephen Pal Quol, says it is important to complete the constitution-making process before elections. A representative of the reconstituted Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission, Ambassador Berhen Kebede, calls on the government to implement the outstanding issues in the peace agreement to pave way for fair and transparent elections at the end of the roadmap. The Executive Director of the Community Empowerment for Progress organization, Edmond Yakani, appeals to political parties to disseminate peace messages.
If we end the transition without constitution, it means we are actually going to another transition, because the document that will establish the next government will be Transitional Constitution 2011. There is a crisis there, something called constitutional crisis, because this agreement is not only about elections. Article 1, Chapter 114 of this document said the RT-GONO mandate is to implement the agreement. So we are a government of agreement to implement peace agreements. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not about elections. It is also about the country to govern after the elections.
As we all know, elections are scheduled to take place about a year from now, and much remains to be done in terms of implementing the revitalized peace agreement on the resolution of the conflict in the Republic of South Sudan. There are critical provisions of the peace agreement which have significant impact on election preparedness that are still pending. Election is not an event, it is a process which requires the implementation of a spectrum of issues.
As an election administrator, I will say there is much to do. I know my colleague from the NEC will agree with everything I say of there is a lot to do, and the time now to get serious with regard to how to make it happen is urgent.
I would like to take this opportunity to appeal to the political parties at various capacity. We know that elections are political events, a political process. We are calling upon you that please take extra national responsibility as the leaders with your various political parties to communicate messages that nurture the culture of peace and peaceful coexistence. We are appealing for you as the political parties. We are aware that election is coming, the political mood and the political environment very high. Please take extra responsibility. Don't send up.
Government, in collaboration with the Kingdom of the Netherlands and the United Nations Development Programme, launched Seed for the Youth project to empower young people. Addressing the occasion at Multipurpose Training Center in Juba, the Minister of Labour and Industrial Relations, James Hothmai, says the project will create employment opportunities for the youth. UNDP resident representative Dr. Samuel Doe says the capacity building program is targeting over 200,000 youths in South Sudan. The Dutch ambassador Marjan Sipash says the government of the Netherlands is committed to working closely with other partners to empower young people across the country.
Because if today you train a good number of youth, I think they will be engaged very much doing their own businesses than going to fight senseless war. It is actually the only way that we can improve the life of our people and therefore improving also our security. Ambassador and Dr. Samuel, you have seen the testimony from a student graduated from this MTC, how this small MTC shaped his life. And this one is very important, and it is goodness for you, the student who are in.
The Seeds for Youth project aims to benefit 216,000 persons, transform the lives of at least 51,000 young men and women by enhancing their employability through building capacity in vocational, providing critical career guidance and counseling, and opening doors to employment opportunities, and providing enterprise support to develop critical value chains in the agriculture sector.
The Netherlands and me personally, we are so proud to announce our continued support and collaboration with the UNDP with the Seed for Youth program. And I just say again, Seed for Youth means skills, employment, empowerment. I want to take this opportunity to thank Samuel Doe for his leadership at the UNDP. I understand this is your last official he does here in cooperation with partners. And I think this is really something to celebrate. I think with the UNDP, we focus on youth, and for the implementation of the peace program process here, on justice, on things that are so close at heart for all of South Sudanese, but certainly for
The Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation, Ramadan Mohammed Abdallah Goch, and the Norwegian Ambassador Lincoln Yimen Berryman exchanged views on the latest developments in Sudan. Ambassador Yimen Berryman told the media after the meeting that they discussed a range of issues, including the humanitarian situation in South Sudan and the implementation of the peace agreement.
We exchanged views on latest developments concerning Sudan, the IGAD meeting that recently took place, and we talked about the humanitarian situation in South Sudan and other effects on South Sudan. We talked about the need for increased funding also from South Sudan's own budgets to this crisis, and we talked about many other issues, including the implementation of the peace agreement and plans to get ready for the election.
Governor Kwal Moore says he will work closely with his counterpart, Dr. Chol Deng Alak, to maintain peace and security as well as peaceful coexistence between the people of Warrap and Abyei administrative area. Governor Moore was speaking during a meeting with Dinkangok community in Juba on Monday. Abyei Chief Administrator Dr. Chol Deng Alak commended the efforts of Warrap State leadership towards achieving peace between the neighboring communities. Legislator Asha Abbas Akwei, representing Abyei in the National Parliament, says the two leaders will play a vital role in achieving peace in their areas.
Community we are very happy. We appreciate that. Nas bada ngok they are ready for peace. So I'm nashid nas bada walaya wa denkatwi مشام
ونرجو من إخواننا الموجودين خاصة في توي أنه يمشوا معنا في نفس هذا الاتجاه ونقف مع الحكومة بتاعتنا.
متأكدة بمجهودنا ومجهود إخواننا برضو في تويج هيقدر يعمل السلام ده إن شاء الله مع بداية السنة الجديدة إن شاء الله. تويج وماوك يرجعوا لوضعهم العادي الزمان اللي معروف لكل الناس. وبرضو أنا بشكره لأنه برضو جاب معاه الناس الكبار من قرية بحر الغزال. ده بيوري إنه فعلا قرية بحر الغزال مهتم بالمشكلتين أو بالمنطقتين في قرية.
If you have just joined us, this is SSBC 1 o'clock news coming to you live from Juba. And coming up, a peace conference between Mariel Bay and Apuk communities commenced in Wau. These and more stories after this short break. Stay with us. Welcome back. A peace conference between Mariel Bay communities of Western Bahr el Ghazal and Apuk of Warab states opened in Wau. The conference, organized with support from the United Nations mission in South Sudan, aims at promoting peaceful coexistence between the two communities. In his key remarks, Deputy Governor Zakaria Joseph Garang calls for peaceful coexistence between the two neighboring communities. Warab State Minister of Cabinet Affairs, Agem Akotdit, commended the leaders for addressing the problems facing the two states. The Speaker of Western Bahr el Ghazal State Legislative Assembly, Andal Wad Allah Nasser, called on the communities to unite and live in peace. 75 delegates from the two states are attending the conference.
في خلاف حاصل ونحن فقدنا فيه أرواح بتاع الناس سواء كان عزا وأبرياء وممتلكات بتاع الناس أبرياء فقدنا فيه عزيز من النفس ونحن متأسفين عشان نحن نلقي الناس في ظروف سهلة لا مسألة صعبة بالنسبة لنا. نحن شفنا إنه لازم يكون في شغل نحن نتكلم فيه.
To show that we want a peaceful coexistence between our two communities, the people of Apuk and people of Mariel Bay. Actually, Western Bahr el Ghazal is home for all of us.
نحن نبارك الدائرة ده ونتمنى على إنه ينجح والناس يعيش في محبة وفي وئام. نحن ما دارين مشاكل.
The Association of Persons with Disabilities in Western Bahr el Ghazal State held a cultural day as part of the commemoration of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Speaking at the event, the State Minister of Youth and Sports, Mohammed Ali Goni, requests public and private institutions to create a safer work environment for persons with disabilities. The State Minister of Gender, Child and Social Welfare, Elizabeth Mario, says the event renews government's commitment to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities. The chairperson of the Association of Persons with Disabilities calls on the public to refrain from discriminating against the persons with disabilities.
وهم مهمين بالنسبة للسلام والسلام الاجتماعي اللي نحن فيه الآن، لأنه نحن نقول نحن معرقين من الحرب وفي جزء ومعرقين من النضال بتاع بلد بتاعنا، وفي جزء فيه من المعوقين هم صاحبوا بإنه جنوب السودان يبقى دولة.
الناس ديل ما نخليهم ورا، لازم يدربوهم، لازم يقدموهم، عشان احنا بنحتاج لهم، بيعملوا حاجات كثيرة بيساعد البلد. وكمان زي ما قالوا قبل الغمر من الناس المعوقين.
Also, justice is still a challenge for us, that we are also spending education. Make sure that all the type of disability are educated, are entering.
Ruweng Administrative Area has repatriated 265 returnees from Sudan to Abiemnom County. Speaking to SSBC, the area's Minister of Physical Infrastructure, James Aropa Yuel, says the International Organization for Migration transported the returnees from Reng to Juba. The chairperson of Abiemnom community, Cole Thorne, appreciated the government for repatriating the returnees to their areas of origin. A representative of the returnees, Achol Marik Gum, thanked the government and the International Organization for Migration for transporting them home.
Today we are on this ground in Mio Saba, trying to see our people being transported to Wau, and from Wau to Biemnom. These are returnees who came from Rang. Most of them were transported by IOM, and some find their way to come to Juba from Rang because transport was a problem. Today we are taking 256 to Wau, and from Wau to Biemnom. You know, the condition of these returnees from here is not that good, and that's why our government, the government of Ruweng Administrative Area, headed by His Excellency Chief Administrator Stefano Malek, decided to hire these vehicles you are seeing in order to take these returnees.
آسيا الليلة أنا بشكر شيب إدارية روين موجود حاجة عملوا للكوميونتي حاجة كبير ونحن نشكره حاجة عملوا يهندا سنين في 3 روزات واقفين و3 دفارات ويهيمشي من يقوم من الجبهة لمناطق واو لأبيمنم وأنا بشكر فوقه شيب
بجهد المقاطعة وليس 3 عشان الناس تعرف، وإن شاء الله لو الناس شغالين على كل الشوارع 4 شوارع يمكن الناس تعملها بالجهد الخاص، يرابط يدينه عشان الناس تمشي لقدام.
Rang County Commissioner Kakpadit Kag reiterated commitment to provide basic service to the public.
والطريقة اللي نعمله ده هنا إرادات بتاع المنطقة ليش بتاع دعم الاتجاه، والقروش ده قروش المنطقة، قروش المنطقة ده جمعناهم وشرينا الجاز دي فوق اديناهم خبر عشان ان احنا نعمل تشييد الشوارع داخل الرنج، وانا كمحافظ مقاطعة الرنج لازم نقدم على الشعب بتاعي، والشعب ده شعب.
On his part, the County Executive Director, Anyang Agau, said the project will cover main internal roads in the town, adding that the project is implementing through the local revenues.
اليوم ندشر شوارع رئيسية داخل المدينة، أولا بشارع تمثال نظرت حتى المقاطعة، وشارع 40 حتى شارع ملكال، ثم الشارع الثالث من المستشفى حتى محطة الموية، والشارع جنوب السوق الشعبي. هذه المجهودات جاء بفضل قيادة البلد سيد المحافظ.
The county community elder, Ajang Chol, appreciated the efforts of the county authorities in rehabilitating roads to ease the movements of people and goods.
ده كلام أمول الليل لا كلام أمول بشال بقول شارع كاغان كلام أمول أوش بتاع مقاطعة هذول بدأ فيه كان مرام إذا سبت أي زول جاسوا حاجة كويس عمل.
والليلة نحن كمقاطعة الرنج كلنا قاعدين هنا ده نشد هنا الفقير بيعين فينا وبيعرف أصوات كثير بلقاه في مقاطعة الرنج.
In a separative development, Rang County SPLM Secretariat graduated over 60 Youth League members after completing training on party's basic documents. Addressing the event, Rang County SPLM Chairman Kak Padit Kag called on the party members to continue preparing for the reception of President Kiir and SPLM Chairman.
يلا نحن لا نقبل بعض عشان بلدنا يمشي كويس. وانا بشكر مراوية رئيس المراوية المرأة ده ما قاعدين يخاذلوا وما عندهم قبلية ولا عندهم مشكلة. وانا كان قبلنا زي المرأة ده الرنج ده بكون بندخلوه هنا في حساب ما بتشيلنا. حقا نحن نتراجعوا الليلة. انا شعرت الناس يتراجعوا كمية من الناس جو ونحن بنبارك لكم مبروك عليكم. المشوار طويل. المشوار ده بكملنا هنا وما بنلحق حده.
The county SPLM Secretary Ding Deng Luet affirmed the significance of youth capacity building programs.
دي 10 نقاط اللي دربناهم لهم في فترة بتاعت 14 يوم عشان نبني قدرات بتاعت الشباب. فالباب ده مفتوح والدار ده مفتوح لكل الناس. كل عضوية الحركة الشعبية مفتوح لهم انه يجوا واي زول عنده فكرة. عندك فكرة ممكن يقدم الحزب ويطور الحزب مرحب بك.
The county's SPLM Youth League chairman Deng Ajag pledged to translate the knowledge and skills they had acquired into practice to promote the party's activities.
الوحدة يا جماعة أن احنا قبل ما نمشي ده واحد من الشعارات حقنا كحركة شعبية إنه الوحدة مهم. وحدة بتاع قيادات بتاع حزب. احنا دايرين إنه نمشي لقدام بالحزب ونكونوا جادين زي ما الرئيس جادي في الانتخابات.
The graduation ceremony of the first batch of the SPLM Youth League was organized under the theme Youth for Unity. For SSBC News, Mario Suleiman.
And this story brings us to the end of this news bulletin this afternoon. From me, Duke Wilson, and the rest of the team here at SSBC, thank you for watching and have a good afternoon.
very much, Secretary General Peter Lam and the Deputy Secretary General first, and the members of the SPLM present here today, and the entire membership and leadership, from the Chairman, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, President Salva Kiir, to members of our delegation who are here with us here today. We pass revolutionary greetings from the people of South Africa and the President of the African National Congress, Comrade Cyril Ramaphosa. We are very delighted that today we have signed this memorandum of understanding. But our ties and our journey does not begin today. We have been together in the trenches to liberate our people from colonialism and apartheid. We have fought struggles in the bush through armed struggle to gain our independence. Today, when we ascend to power to further liberate our people and bring about a better life for all, we are still together. We are yet comrades with you in the revolutionary struggle for the African Revolution, for African Renaissance. We are in the footsteps of our forebears, leaders of our great movement. President Oliver Tambo, President of the African National Congress, President John Garang, Chairman of SPLM. We're still working today alongside President Cyril Ramaphosa and President Chairman Salva Kiir. The baton is being passed on a daily basis to us to continue with the struggle. Aluta continue. The struggle continues. We are encouraged by your efforts of defending South Sudan, your efforts to build SPLM, because SPLM does not belong to individuals. It belongs to the people of South Sudan. It will live forever and ever. We wish you all the best in your endeavors, unity in struggle, guard against divisions in the party, consolidate the party, become a disciplined party, a party of well-informed people about the cause of struggle. We in the ANC, we strive for that. Today, after so many years and decades of us in existence, the oldest liberation movement in the African continent, we talk renewal. Because if a party does not renew itself, it does not adapt to current conditions, that party will die. And today, we live in a world of globalization. Globalization is a phenomenon located within a capitalist mode of production. It has got its own advantages and disadvantages. Our parties have got to modernize and adapt and be relevant all the time. If we don't nourish our parties to adapt to new methods of organizing and connection with our people, they will die. They will become history. And I'm happy that SPLM have invested in the development of its young cadreship, but it has also invested in modernization. The ANC, on the other hand, have invested in renewal. And what brings us together and what moved the African National Congress is the spirit of internationalism. Our struggle is not only a struggle of South Africa, it's a struggle for peoples of the world and Africa as a whole. We are a Pan-African political party. We are tied to Africa and the rest of the world. We feel deep about injustices meted against people everywhere in the world. Wherever there is an injustice and oppression, you will find the African National Congress. In us, you've got allies. Have faith in our leadership, and trust and loyalty is what we build through the spirit of comradeship. And that is why we say long live SPLM and long live the African National Congress. Thank you very much.
Comrade Secretary General, the SPLM, by spirit and objectives, is a national liberation movement. And the objective is to liberate the people of Africa, the South Sudan people, from oppressive practices, from colonization, from exploitation, to be free and live free like any other people of the world. And that kind of international spirit brings us together with like-minded political parties. And the ANC has always been an inspiration to the founding of the SPLM and SPLA in the 1980s. You have met the leadership of the SPLM, all members of the Leadership Council, the chairman and his 3 deputies, Secretary General and his deputies, and all the secretariat of SPLM. And all the members of this party and the Youth League members who went for training in South Africa. And they were all very happy to see Comrade David here in Europe. And wherever we went yesterday, the journalists who just came back, they recognize it. And they say this, our bilateral ties, nobody can break them. Despite the difficulties that we go through, because of what we stand for. We stand for the people. Our objective is to establish, and the first deputy chair of SPLM, who told you that 80% of our population are illiterate, and only 20% are able to read and write. Now that is a heavy responsibility for SPLM to lift these people out of object poverty to bring them to prosperity. Nobody else can do but the SPLM. And so today, with the signing of this memorandum of understanding, we are not establishing something new, but deepening the relations between the SPLM and the ANC. And our ever commitment to work together for an African cause, both in the continent and beyond, especially in areas where liberation movements are seen with disdain by certain powers in the world. But we are so happy that we can work together, we can unite together, and we will always defeat our enemies. Comrade Secretary General, we have reached a threshold in the implementation of the agreement. We have now completed 5 critical aspects that must happen in order for election to take place. Yesterday, with your arrival, the deployment of unified forces was launched. Now comes the real task of organizing ourselves as a party, of other parties in this country whose number is 58, to now go to the Political Parties Council and register themselves and let them compete democratically, so that our country comes out of this ever-ending transition into a democratic process, where we will have a clean government that is elected by people, and that will lead our people in the next decades throughout this country with peace. And we'll be able to provide the basic services that our people need, rather than defend ourselves. We'll be able to expand the road network which we have started. We'll be able to provide electricity. We'll be able to provide education for our people. We will be able to invest in agricultural sector and the mineral sector, as well as our oil industry, and so many other available services that are there. This is our dream for the next 5 to 10 years, that South Sudan must reach where the rest of Africa is. We will have no excuse in a peaceful environment not to deliver services. And with this kind of knowledge and training which you are giving to our young people, we know that the SPLM will be in good hands. You talk about the relationship between late Comrade Oliver Tambo and Comrade John Garang. The relationship continues with Comrade Salva and Comrade Ramaphosa, and between the two of us and the rest of the secretaries. We will keep the relationship and flag going on. We must continue to liberate our people. It is our objective that you support us in our elections by giving us ideas, by giving us training, by guiding us through the process of a competitive election, because you went through this. Like Comrade James Wani said in the morning, don't ask somebody who is trying to go there, ask somebody who is coming from there, because they know how it is. And so you've been there, and we are going to learn from you. And there are little things you will also learn from the SPLM. So with this, I want to say once again, welcome to South Sudan. Thank you very much for visiting us. This has been an eye-opening. The whole country is watching, and they are very happy to see ANC and SPLM working together hand in hand to bring peace and stability to South Sudan. SPLM, we
So this one now is a sample of, is welcoming hospitality, and we use it, we always give it to appreciate. Okay, when we want to appreciate people, we want to show love.
Yes.
This is how the way we appreciate our people in South Sudan. So whenever you are going to sleep on this day, you remember that people in South Sudan.
Today we conclude a two-day visit from the African National Congress of South Africa to the Sudan People's Liberation Movement in South Sudan. We had very two fruitful days in our deliberations and in our meetings with the leadership of the SPLM. Those 2 days have concluded today with the signing of a memorandum of understanding, basically reaffirming a historical 40-year relationship that the ANC and the SPLM have had. We have worked together since the founding of the SPLM 40 years ago. The African National Congress leadership, led by President Oliver Tambo, may his soul rest in peace, worked very closely with the leadership of the SPLM, led by the late Dr. John Garang. This relationship has seen us many tough days. We worked together during the liberation struggle. We worked together after 1994 when South Africa gained independence, and we worked together after the SPLM assented to governance in South Sudan. We worked on peace and development, and today we were reaffirming in the memorandum signed by our Secretaries General, we were reaffirming that we want to work together going forward as well. We want to work together to bring about peace and development in South Africa and in South Sudan. We want to work together to be alive in our whole continent. The two liberation movements, which are now governing parties, are going to continue to work together. In our memorandum of we are going to work together on strengthening our parties, party building, on how these parties facing different challenges and going into the future are going to work together in improving. There will be a lot of training and exchanges, as we have always done, between South Africa and the South Sudan and between the two countries. But now we want to make sure experiences on governance, because governance is about meeting the needs of citizens, mobilizing the citizens, having the capacity to address development challenges. And there are many development challenges, but there are also 30 years into a democracy. There are many development challenges in South Africa. The third area is going to be just party training, the training of the party members and the leadership of the party and the party cadres in many areas. Party discipline, the vision and of the leadership and the members of these parties to be able to do what they say they want to do in their constitutions, and that is to serve the people of the South Sudan and to serve the people of South Africa. We also have another area of collaboration would be on training people who are very good communicators in our parties, so that our parties can have a capacity to communicate with the population out there, to build strong relationship with the media. The media is not the enemy. The media, you have to be we want our leadership to know they need to be outward there, to be giving information, because the media is a medium through which information is taken to the population. So all those key areas would be part of our collaboration memorandum. We will also work together very closely in the African Union. We want to work together on international solidarity. We want to work together in the United Nations, on global bodies. We, South Africa, the ANC, convened in July the BRICS political parties dialogue. We also want to support South Sudan and the SPLM to work in other forums, global forums, continental bodies. So that is a very comprehensive memorandum. But our immediate focus is to make sure that South Sudan goes to democratic elections in 2024. We received a good report from the leadership of the SPLM. The SPLM and the South people of South Sudan need South Africa's support. We want peace. We must never return to war. The leadership of South Africa and the leadership of the ANC have worked tirelessly, from Nelson Mandela, all the presidents of the ANC and the presidents of South Africa, up to President Cyril Ramaphosa. We want to see peace because peace is a precondition for development. We want to see democracy. We want the people of South Africa and the people of South Sudan to democratically elect their own leaders. We want to see that happening in South Sudan. So in that way, the SPLM can always count on the ANC. We know, of course, that if there is a good spirit of free and fair, we want free and fair elections here in South Sudan. We know when that precondition, those conditions exist, we know that the people will exercise their right to vote the leaders they want. And that's what we want, peace and development in South Africa and in South Sudan, and peace and development in our continent. That this MOU, this Memorandum of Understanding, is a reaffirmation that we have worked together for 40 years. We now want to work together for the next 40 years to build on the strength and the legacy of our leaders who came before, led by Oliver Tambo and Nelson Mandela. And here in South Sudan, the SPLM and the people of South Sudan, led by Dr. John Garang, and now led by President Salva Kiir, and in South Africa now led by President Cyril Ramaphosa. Thank you very much.
This historic visit has ended this afternoon with a signing of a Memorandum of Understanding. And this Memorandum of Understanding is not new. We have been having a relationship and a partnership with the ANC since long time immemorial. We have 40 years of partnership with them, and today we are deepening this partnership in signing of this Memorandum of Understanding. This partnership started way back from our founding fathers, Dr. John Garang de Mabior and General Salva Kiir Mayardit, who is the chair of the SPLM and the President of the Republic of South Sudan, and the President of South Africa, ANC, President Thabo, and President Mandela. These are the people who came together to see how they can advance Africa forward. And we have seen today the struggle that we have been having together has led fruits. South Sudan is liberated today, and South Africa is also liberated today. That's why we said we should continue to deepen our relationships. That's why today we have signed this great Memorandum of Understanding, whereby we are going to work together in terms of training. We will be training, we'll have a school, political school, which will be a joint political school together. ANC and South Africa will have joint political school, whereby we are going to train our cadres. We'll be learning from best practices of the South African people, and they will also learn from our best practices, the SPLM. Because we have been in the struggle for 40 years, we have a lot to give out, and South Africa has a lot to give us. That's why we said it's better we have to deepen this relationship, these ties, so that we can work together to advance Africa, especially the Vision 2023 for the African Union. We are going to work together to do that. We are going together now for election. South Africa is going for election. And we, SPLM, we are going for election. So you see, with the South African ANC, we are working together. We have a lot of similarities. So we are working together to transform into a democratically country, which is having constitutionalism, which is a very strong country with good governance. Those are the areas we are going to work together with the ANC to develop this area forward, especially the issue of the media. We will work with them to develop our media
to make sure communication is put in place, especially for elections. We'll have to learn many things from them, and they will also learn many things from us. That's why today we have signed this memorandum of understanding, and we are very grateful for this, and we thank both our two leaders, President Salva Kiir Mayardit, who is the chair of the SPLM, and the President Cyril Ramaphosa for having connected this historic relationship. Thank you very much.
Dan banjam tina dan ziyarat bankan le Malakal ay الاسبوع الاول لشهر 12 وتم تاجيله لشهر 2 ويمكن كان مصلحه وجوديه التاجيل لشهر 2 لانه ينديتا Malakal اللي بين الريف لانه نعطيه كنا شغالين في 4 شغال في شارع عشان بدك ابي البيجر من الهادي Malakal أنا تابين وجيتا كو تامبين فعشان كده أشوف تنبوك لوي بدك شابوله Malakal كل أنتي خبر بين كما تقول جل شهرين أشوف بنتي حاجة كويس فهو كون كل برضو شامبوك دار السيدات بو بين اللون في Malakal عشان بيل لوي دزمان كين راهم تاب ين بيا بين أبو كل يكون في تقابل جاي 2024 ندعي تقابل تأشياء دالبيكو إنت قبل بير لوي طبعا ده كويس بير تقابل لوي لكن بير لوي وده حل مشاكل لأن حكومة ونوتين حكومة اشتراكية بما دي حكومة اشتراكية أكثر اتفاقية ينمر كويوان كي تونكتين بجوكوين بيرمات فبيد عشان بيدا حكومة تجني وين إلا بين تقابل لوي فذكا أمر كشيوك pagulwin na zamu kullu rayalun na zamu fi humada asan bade na bile be dawair asa ko jelge ban wala parke ko le malut ko le ko le dede do wate bade ngala na dawair bosi ko le la mu yonyong le uyini kira da bidam roi saga de kenpat faytu mo tayi tan yo la makin da ko ma bade de ki tasjil de ki zaman da ban banan da dawair ko hunta bi ko lwin da ba برضو دي كاتو اتغلي جلال دي ده نتكلم نتيجه لوي هدايا كانتي زمان ما بسيط بالنسبه لي حاجه مقدر يعني بيان ام جيتا دمو با لوي كي لانو كي لوي حاجه صاير كوني نبراني لوي قدام حتى لو قدام لك حاجه بسيط فايتي انه حاجه مقدر فاويتي كاتو وتغلي جلال دي ده برضو جنم برضو دي كدن كويدا برضو اتيكا دي دين قدامو ada ga ce da mun gibe lena in ke nake bardu wacce haja basida haja muwaddal fa yambe nan jara ta da mu ba luwe lan wi kiyan luwe doro ubaga ne karamo ka ko kiru le non te ba ti jam ka ti wo ka ban ko wesi asi mu te jam ka wonta luwe te gara wi da ko luwe te chul ke ki bi ngira lanu jam te chule ne jam si asi na ke luwe ban ni maka ka hamas ban ko ti luwe da wo ka ban pa ti jam ka ti wada ran ki luwe ta honorable kaman zemiri ti luwe te jeli na ke lan banya lanu ayo ke ken moluda ke ge okan tin to ba na yinge ye motan de kilo no ngi wuni tin wunu kwa ayana ci am de be yu la ge no le dem ba cien aku ma ci aku me tam ci aku le la feke aku ma am ni lu yene lu dawabit bi motan de rebe salam kwa ita to wonta de aku ma kwa je ta de ken aku ma lanu ruwa tigi da wel wan pa ge re la ruwa kana ngui bu jena ko lakin no tin ba ti ale pa pa chandira janial wala bara jaru e kitana kan al bishu ba ke kois fa we ba ton be mo nen ki de yin ti kin ni u ke tin yi ko ki na ken na kuma chok ke ba ki to la jaru e bang lanu pa de tok na tok ko ken na zum na ke ta nan to ko ko la ku lakin a chanu ko ra ku na ke sa fa we yang lu terus jadi lanuran kecil moderat lazim batingin itu nanti gol tautin kai tuju ko wal tan utu nang wal tan jambage trane kon ngi ngul re ta kam kame wong yere ka ba ngi ko hata ke wol re kaga ande ko yere ru na ko tinga nan jakki lanu fina yi ko tinga mo din ka wo ko ke ga ci mum nam e lo le da ko bi na loyi taban dan ya ko ita na luwa ni biak piu ki man tawatin ni gato ngo en taw ko kilo na ga biasanta asan najaran biak semal quran jere biak ginu bi ci ko yen binu funus ko mi ko wukte ka ayena bukti ngo ya kuma o bardu bi musada bta al mujtama jena idara hali da goy da kam kam wuki ko ita marar ko leto in bola twen go inde dan buglo rot lana yow lakin aken wo imat be mana o biya go fala o tak pe ngi rani tingin no be na wale wala tin fa yene ke alwel no we hawul ba wo imat mana yije ne biya la wo ko mana yije na bota bi ten me o mana yije na bota re o wala ko tira nan go ben be ke o dare o tin bu shukran
اليوم احنا مبسوطين جدا في المقاطع شديد كلام منبه شديد منبه لنا بالذات سايد النيل لانه قال لنا قبل قال لنا انتو وين النيل اكيران كيكالو نيمانا نبيل اكيران كيكالو نيمانا نبيل فعلا كلامنا فيه كثير really وين وده شاكويس لنا نحن كمقاطع ملوك وكل أي وننتبه في هذا الحتة سعادة المحافظ مقاطع ملوك اليوم نيابة عن السلطات التنفيذية في مقاطع ملوك قد تكرمنا وحضرنا في هذا البومة لكي نحضر احتفال بتاع في هذه المنطقة. جاي بتاع قمرة بري يعني الأمن مستقر، الأمن مستقر، لكن الشيء اللي بقوله طبعا في موضوع بسيط بالنسبة للشباب، موضوع بتاع نقص بالأخص الإدارة الأهلية في مقاطعة مرلوب. موضوع بتاع النقص ده بقى مشكلة بالنسبة لمقاطعة بتاع مرلوب. موضوع بتاع النقص طبعا جاينا العيد بتاع كريسمس، والعيد بتاع كريسمس ده بكون فيه مشاكل الإدارة الأهلية، يمكن يعمل مؤتمر بسيط بالنسبة لموضوع بتاع النقص ده عشان يحسم موضوع بتاع النقص داخل مقاطعة مرلوب.
وأبا لويل نتونج جيل بالك ويل دون وجين ولوك تين مرحلة بنتين مرحلة بوين مرحلة تتوقع تريد كايلك انتخاباتي، لكن وكوي كاس فيلم أشي دون وي كل بين سجل لما تبع فيلم تن كان باعود وتن أشي دون وكلمة تاد أسفل وي أشي دون شيء روك أي نوك يوغا يجيب كوكي.
أولاً يبي وسر داتا أبا لي جبا كفوك ملاي عشان كي أشيك فيرمو أكايكا بيت أكوي ما كنا كنا أبا لي كي أرون با من وان مود بايشون كوبا بنتون نموغايني ولا كاكا باي كنو تروي كوجا وو بني كين بن يا بني كوجا بن وبني كوجا بن انام يا ولا يجي تلفون بنيال وكتا وود الو روي كوجي كباي باغرا شون ولا باي دي كيلو ملابي يوم سبت ولا جام كوندي يا دي كوجلو wo koje moi tama ke yo ko alivi ko ya jam kate achan dilo mare wo nei wo lo ko di chok ko wo ga bodong wadang ko mi dano ko ben ko mi wo ga bi ko na chi ko je jam kate chi ga dengi yere krere se wani jeban lui chalu wut enyan mane achiran ngi chen wi ko yani yana ti ine de lo go nyi wadang ko jara lo ayile wunja tore e wuni calmo yimanam koy ku jagudu ben kiete lu yina tet tene yin fio e yete dalal yinum da sabak diu wuda chala nyan mana a chungi na e to ngabun ya obi dezado
abela yo fio mala me chunya na na brada me abela yo fio mala
Kadang batau kecuk, dia nala, jadi jual tiga menden gong, lu tiga jual. Wajib ngut kau malu tu no ye na mau nak tahu ko mau nak dora. Wah tin, aji ibu ada betul ke orang toyo. Ibu ada betul ke orang toyo. Wah kamu tahu, wo malu. Aje maaf tu membukan. Wo tu maaf galang orang. Awal wo galang dia wo geloka ko pinda la galgu pin là gel của và cũng là luôn là ông đã ta vực diêu chưa bánh chuột là kinh yên ai liêu rồi thì khi bây giờ bạn luôn là cả việc luôn là ngôn lối này là kinh wo lối bo ria pin ina cả bạn luôn ria pin bo cái này dia ju korban kuja amit kuja koi dit de kuja le loi chao se la ma ba tang ram ko ja le na gam ni ta na re ke tan
ana tin koi bagal ke ku ke mar bi gram ban ka mu ke ga dan dia mi kun ja dia ni no wan ke ga tin pa molut ati koi kai we ju da chi ati ga gu le we no big chip chu lo na malan uban bi wo yina mer pyo wa ci bona karay mer pyo biya do wundun tu welle de kay mande lonam ati ganam iran to kama ko laban ina ko la me ga ko la tay to kam ken pati no loy ka mi te kire ka ko la ka te kire ka ga ko man dinga ke ga boy ko ai mai control ati ngai loy ga na we ga mi da wo ati we ga wo we ga mi bat ke loy ke
Bánh cái này phải cho phải unamom, có ai yok amor cái bài yok cả ta cái yok tin này kia ta muốn tại cho lên tiền go, epi bên epi cái này, còn na epi cái này, các cái bữa trên luôn cái ada câu ya, asialem, bài, udah ten mi, punya wala big tea, dilihat, tu tại mình cái quỷ, aku kia đấy. Giờ phải cho thành đó, anh đi, ngay bên mình qua thành, anh cho lên mì tao rồi nè, còn anh cho mì tao, anh kia là tao có cả, anh kia thì đây cái tin này thành,
anh cô là yung, cô cho bạn ổn chưa, anh kim về anh nhảy liên tục, và kim về ăn rồi, anh cha một lúc bên, anh nhảy chưa bên hết rồi. Way ban no way mi to molut wo kan manada muhafiz bara yelwa la chola gi ko dir ko bay wo chugo le wo chugo ting lo da wonta chawo lo ni an wora nam ket to mi ke da kana yen ke din da luen e kan garo ko jodiam den bela tinala ko tuen ka ba ton wo way molut chama na cho bana tane wo ko ci kon ku yena kursi nu bada je nam waka baga lawe te yaw ye nya loy ba ko ri ko loy ba mo lut ko ke ka baga lele o yero ko luti gon duru no kala chok chok gonga ke na le la pinye e pin dian tawi de ci ban abu ta mo yu de chala
ne de kan da ta de wo ko ba ta ram po du ga ba ja ma chi cái này thì nó mới như thế nó yêu anh yêu giờ cả nếu mà đi làm gì thì chỉ là mình để không nhá
nó là video cái lời à cái chặt mà lại đó chi tiết tu gà man tu gà wala ada gà đi nghe wala nghe trồng bún wala nghe trồng cào aja trồng cái giếng trồng cái chỉ là jam cái đi mà đây trồng cái giếng à ka ce fiye to gana karanganam ake ngala ce gara to ai karanganam ka jam ya ta wani ba yi je lawo ne ga da lawo ne ga lawo ne ga ya kan kali gin ga ko ban to wala yi ni mo je je du le ya na chu ga lawo ne ga jam nya wani
Bánh không là lúc và những trăm cái mà vật thiết mà lúc chính ngày chiên các chiên muốn trồng chừng cái kia là tôi cháu của nếu có điều gì có cuốn gì tôi coi cái gì thế nào mà nó coi vui thì chơi coi gì chứ ngã cái riêu nữa ngã cái riêu là cái bên trong cũng coi bên lù coi nó đấy nên nhiều chỗ sai gom coi cái gì gom đông ở kia nó cũng gom để làm
We are working on so that the SPLM national headquarters and the national secretariat can be here. All the offices. Thank you.
We break, make it seem like we feel the same. We love what we hate, but we know we can't water what doesn't grow. Give up, let it go. Well, we fell apart just in time. At least it was worth the try. At least it was worth the try. Was worth the try. At least it was worth the try.
Well, another beautiful day. Not only a person that's vocal when it comes to music, but at the same time, she decided to use her artistic powers into transforming art by none other than Black Queen, known as aka Mercy. So much more, I would like to hear from you, Mercy. Welcome to Chill Zone.
Oh my God, it's a pleasure to be here. I'm so happy.